All right, hello again, everyone. We are getting ready to start working on um, our UGears Pendulum project kits that you should have picked up by now. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to go over some stuff that you're going to want to know that is in the manual. Just want to point out a little closer, and we're going to get started on the build. So I've already taken the time to take the plastic wrap off of the main box, so that slides out. I'm gonna put that off to the side, and we're gonna open this up. You see the STEM lab here, and I also took the time to unwrap. In yours, you're gonna see these boards and this manual all wrapped up in plastic wrap as well. Just for the sake of time, I took that off as well, just to kind of move things along in the video a little bit better. But this is your instruction manual. And if you're someone who doesn't read the instructions on anything, you have to do it for this, because there's so many parts and they go together in specific ways. So you're definitely going to want to hang on to this and do not lose it. The other things you're going to see are a study guide, which we will get to once the pendulum is put together. You're going to see this. That's just kind of a support piece in there. There's nothing in it. And then in this box, you are going to see some rubber bands and a piece of wax, which is going to be used to put on some of the gears to lubricate them, so that when you put them together, they mesh properly and they move smoothly. All right, so these are going to be important, plus the rubber bands are also going to be crucial to how certain parts go together and work. So I'm going to put some of this stuff to the side. I'm going to keep this here. And we are going to open the manual. And there's some things that I want to point out to everyone. And let me see if I can zoom in here. Okay. So there's stuff over here, which we're going to get to later. But on the page over here, the instructions, there's some stuff up here that talks about removing the parts from the boards, the hanger boards, which is these. Remove them carefully, and you want to be careful not to break parts. If a part does not remove easily, carefully cut it out with a knife. I don't know if you're going to need to do that. There's a little tool that they give you that I'm going to show you that can be used to pop pieces out as well. This is intended for self-assembly without glue. So I know you guys have glue in your kits, but we do not need it for this project. The pieces snap together. Moving parts get waxed during assembly to reduce friction. All right. And then there's some areas that are in other languages, but this should go without saying, but do not use a lit candle. So that wax that we have here, we're not going to be lighting that. We're just using it to lubricate the parts. So throughout the build, when you look at the various steps, you're going to see some of these symbols. These are important to pay attention to. The first one, if you see a red exclamation mark, that means to pay special attention and check the position of the part before you snap it together. Because if you just put things in the wrong way, you're going to have to take them apart, and sometimes it can be a little fussy. So anytime you see that exclamation mark, pay attention. Next one, the little symbol of the gears meshing. That means to check the mechanism for smoothness and accuracy of movement before you move any further. So like if it's two gears going together, you want to make sure that they're not misaligned and they don't move properly. Right? So you want to make sure it's moving properly and operate the mechanism so the parts would seat into place properly. So meaning the gear teeth mesh together. This symbol with a ruler means to check the size. More on that in a minute. There's a little ruler that they give you as a gauge. You're going to see sometimes a scissors icon. That means to cut, which will be the rubber band or the thread. And then the last one is this image here of a gear being waxed. So anytime you see this image as you're working, you're going to wax that part with a regular candle. So what that means is you would just rub the gears, the teeth of the gears, with that wax, okay? And that's just going to make things slide and move a lot easier. Next is a section over here that just talks about certain parts, so specified details. Some of them come with spare duplicates, and it's in specific, it's these. They're smaller pieces that might tend to break if you're not careful, so they provide a few extras just in case it breaks. So in particular, that's number 7, 12, 23, 24, 41, and 47. You're also going to notice on the boards that every part is numbered accordingly, right? You see the 1, the 3, 8, they're in different positions, but they are numbered. So there's no question which one is which. One thing we're going to get to right now, and this ties back into measuring things, is this part right here, letter H. That is not a part. It's not a structural component. So it's not a part that goes on the finished product. That is, it's a tool that's used for measuring and for assembly, and it can be used to pop parts out of the board. So we're going to take that off right now. So I'm going to find the board that has that. And that is, give me a second. So it's board number 3 right here. And it's letter H. And you can see that matches what is in the manual. So I'm going to go ahead and carefully, every time you pop these out, you want to just be careful. Pop that out, and that is going to be my tool to measure. So this is actually not in inches, it's in millimeters. So this is a scale from 0 to 15 millimeters, which will come into use later. And then this end is a pop-out tool. So you could see in the picture here, like for number 23, or let me find it on here. Like if you want to use this to feed it inside here and push, it just helps you get a better way of popping these out of the panels. Okay, so we are going to get started. Let me zoom this back out. Give you a bigger picture. Okay, so this is kind of an illustration of what I was talking about before using that pop-out tool. You see it says it's easier to pull out some parts with the helper, and you can see how that's being used in there. So we're going to get started, and the first things it's going to have us do, we're at step 1, is we're going to go to the piece labeled number 1. So we're on board 1, and number 1 is here, okay? And what I'm going to do is just very carefully pop those out. Okay, so I got that one, and then the second one here. Okay, so I have those 2 parts. Let me move my manual. Okay, so I have those 2, and the first step says to take them and stack them one on top of another. So I'm going to stack them like that and set it aside. Now we're going to get to number 2 and 3. So 2 is here, 3 is here. So we're going to find those. Number 2. So pop that out, And number 3 is right here. Pop that out. Okay, so looking at the manual, we're gonna put 2 into the end of number 1, like so. So, might be a tight fit, and you can press, and you should hear it or feel it snap into place. There it goes. Okay, so we have those snapped in. All right. And then the other end is going to go in through the center. I'm going to slide that forward until that snaps and seats against there. Okay, so we have that together. Now, for number 3, we have our first exclamation point, and we have the part that we need to lubricate. So that is part number 4. So I'm going to go to find part number 4, which is right here. Carefully pop that out. Okay, so what you want to pay attention to, the exclamation point, the arrow is pointing to the arrow on the piece here. Notice on the back, there's no arrow. So on this side, we have the arrow. So we want that facing out like this. Okay, see how that matches in the picture? And before we put it on, we're going to open up our wax, and I'm going to show everyone how to wax the gears. Okay, so I'm only going to wax it where the arrows are pointing, which is right in those little notches right there. So I'm just going to rub the ends here and rub the ends here. Just a few passes, and you'll see some of the wax flake off. Okay, and now the arrows facing this way, it's going to go in like this. And I'm going to push it all the way back like so. Okay, so that is in there. All right. And next we are on number 4, which is part number 5, and we have to wax all the teeth. So we're going to get to part number 5 here. Carefully pop this out. And for waxing these teeth, what I'm doing is just rubbing, going around each tooth, and just rubbing a little of the wax on the teeth. And I know this is a little tedious, but don't skip this step, because this is what's going to help things mesh, or should help things mesh together and move smoothly. Okay, so I made my rounds there. And now we're going to go on to step 5 over here. So we're going to line up this gear, this tooth here. See, it gives you a more closer look where there's light coming through there. So we're going to line it up just like that. So I have my gear here, and we're going to line up so that the teeth fit in just like that. So if we compare the two, okay, we see the little light coming through there, and that goes together just like that. So now we're going to go on to step 6. Step 6 is part number 6 and part number 7. So we're going to take that out. Part 6. Part 7. Okay, so make sure, again, we have our arrow, or our exclamation mark pointing to the arrow. So make sure that's facing you. And then you're going to take part number 7 with the part sticking out down here, facing down. So you don't want to do it this way or you'll have it backwards. So we want that facing down. And we're going to press that into place. You should feel it snap. You should hear it snap too. Okay, so that's clicked into place. And now we're going to take our unit here and we're going to feed this right through here. Like so. Okay, so that's what it should look like so far. All right, now we're going to step 8 and part number 8. So we're going to pop out part number 8. This one seems pretty easy in that it's going to go, whoops. Hang on. Okay, so this one is going to go right through here, like so. And this notch is open to allow this one piece to fit through. Might be a little fussy going through, but see how that interlocks there? Okay. Now you might notice like this might slide on you, but just you can force it kind of back towards the back there. All right, so now moving on to step 9. Okay, we're gonna get part number 9, and there's 2 of them. So let's get those. Part number 9, I'm gonna pop those both out. Let me just show you. Using these bigger ones, we don't need the pop out tool. Thought I would just show you using that too, but I think the bigger ones, it's easier to just pop them out. Okay, so these are gonna go right on top here. And notice on this one, there's just this little pocket right here, which is gonna allow this part here to feed through it. So if we put that on like that. A little creaky. Okay, so that one's on. Then we're gonna do the second one. Put that on. Same way. Okay, so that's in place. We have those pieces there. And now, step number 10, we have, this is one that I want you to pay attention to because these are 2 different sizes. Okay, so we have part 10 goes on first and number 2 goes on second. Okay, so let's go and find part 10 first. That's right here. So we're gonna pop that out and put that on just so there's no confusion. Okay, so that's gonna snap onto there. Okay, and now piece number 2 gets waxed. So we're gonna use our pop out tool. Maybe not, never mind. Pop it out by hand. And before we put this one on, we're gonna rub the outside with wax all the way around. and pop that on. Okay, so now we have all of this put together. It's looking good. Okay, and that's a stopping point, a checkpoint, where we have the gearbox, or the gears meshed together. And if you hold it from this angle, okay, you can see it looks just like what we see in the picture here. And then if we hold it sideways like this, we should see just like what we see in the picture here. So what I want you to do is take a picture of your gears. Take a picture from this angle, just like in the picture here. So take a picture like this, and take a picture like this. That's going to be how I can check your progress. All right. And submit it for this assignment. And then next time we will pick up where we left off and start on this section here. So once again, take a picture of this part and submit it on your assignment on Google Classroom. All right. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying this so far, and I will talk to you all next time.